Good afternoon, guys. So last class, we were seeing the introduction with respect to sequential circuits, and we saw the basic building block, that is latches. So with latch, we also saw how you could work it using a control input. So here with flip-flops, we will see the difference from that of latches, and then we will see each one of these types. So with latches, basically we saw that it is level sensitive, right? Whereas here with flip-flops, these are edge sensitive devices. Okay. So with latches, these respond to the trigger levels on control inputs. That is, if C is equal to 1, then input is reflected at the output. That was what we saw with respect to usage of control input with respect to the latches. So it is always not easier for us to decide or to verify when your output will be changing value and when you have to store the data for that. So for that purpose, we move ahead with flip-flops. So this stores data on rising or falling edge of the trigger. That is rising edge in the sense when the pulse value changes from, so this is actually 0 and this is 1. So when there is a transition from 0 to 1, we call this the rising edge. Okay. This is also named as positive edge response, as it is moving from 0 to 1, that is smaller value to greater value. This is also named as positive edge. Whereas if the transition is from 1 to 0, so here you are having the transition. This we call it as the falling edge. So we also call this negative edge trigger. Okay. These are the things you need to have in mind. So as these flip-flops are edge triggered, the data actually remains stable. The stability is better in case of flip-flops rather than the latches. Okay. So we have different type of flip-flops. We will be coming across, similar to the latch, we will come across SR flip-flop, D flip-flop. Here you will also have JK flip-flop and T flip-flop. So all these four we will be seeing. And these flip-flops are defined with characteristic function. We will see what it actually means. So if level triggered flip-flops are used, so in the flip-flop also, if we are going for level triggering, that is for C is equal to 0 or C is equal to 1, if you are going to use it that way, the feedback path will be having instability problem. Okay. With edge triggered flip-flop, the transition happens only at the edge and therefore it eliminates the multiple transition problem. That is, if you are having this clock and you are going to have a input changing like this. So here I am having a 0, then I am going with a 1, and then I have this one. Like this, if I am going to have input, just I am considering some random example. So here in this case, the circuit will actually check at the transition, that is at this point, what is the value of input. So here the value of input is 0. So whatever the circuit has to perform, it will be performing it only with respect to the input value 0. And at this clock, it will be sensing next. Here the input value is 1. So with respect to this value, it will do the operation. Then at this point, it will be again checking. Here the value is 0. However, in between there are so much transitions. However, the circuit will not take into account all these transitions. It will be looking only for the transition or only for the value of input that is happening at the edge. Okay, that is what makes this flip-flops to give us a stable operation. Okay, va? So that is what is mentioned as the eliminate the multiple transition problem. It will not have so much of transitions. Okay. So next, let us see the flip-flops. So first is our clock RS flip-flop. The clock terminology, you need not always use it as such because flip-flop, the name itself implies it is clock. Okay. So here, this circuit operation, I need not explain again because we have seen the same circuit using the, that is using the C value equal to 1 for latches. This is actually the same circuit. Here, the only thing you need to consider is this clock implies it is a transition from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. That's all you need to have in mind. So here you can always include this. If this flip-flop is supposed to work during the positive edge transition, this is what is the meaning. Okay. So in between, if your SR value changes, it doesn't bother about it. So I will explain this table alone. This is again the same table. However, the Q here implies the present state value. This Q denotes the present state and Q of t plus 1 denotes the next state. That is, if at present the clock transition is happening. Okay, this is my clock. And I have considered the rising edge of the clock. And your S and R value is, let this be S input and let this be R input. You just assume these two are same line, okay? It just went away. So this is 0 and this is 1. Here this is 1 and this is 0. So what it does is, initially this checks for this particular transition, okay? At this transition, you are having both S and R value to be 1, right? So we know few of the things already, that is for S and R, the Q bar, we have seen already. So here we had for 0, 0, this is no change condition. So whatever the Q value was, it will be the same thing. And for 0, 1, this is actually Q is equal to 0, Q bar is equal to 1 because this is reset condition. And for 1, 0, this is Q is equal to 1 and Q bar equal to 0 because that is the set condition. And finally for 1, 1, we give that as the forbidden condition.
Indeterminate.
Okay, indeterminate or forbidden condition. So this we have seen already. So here this Q implies if this is my value and these are the S and R values, what will be the output Q after one time cycle? In this clock, you are having this value. In the next clock, what will be the output? That is what we are seeing. Okay, wow. So based on that, if so, for that purpose, while writing the table, we write this similar to the way we write with respect to the truth table. That is, here you are having the present state Q, the S and R input of the flip-flop. These two are flip-flop inputs. Okay. Now we have to analyze what will be the next state for this flip-flop. So we know when S and R value are equal to 0, my Q value will be no change condition, right? So the next state value will be same as that of what you have for Q. So here also you have the 0, 0 condition. So if my Q value is 0, the Q of t plus 1 will also be 0. If Q is equal to 1, Q of t plus 1 will be also 1. Okay, ma? So the simplest thing you have to remember is for S equal to 0 and R is equal to 0, Q of t plus 1 is equal to Q. So this may be 0 or 1. We are not bothered about it. The next one we know is for S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1. We know that this is a reset condition. So irrespective of my Q value, for S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1, the output is 0. Okay, you need not bother about what you have for Q at that time. Okay, wow. So S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1. So at that time, Q of t plus 1 value will be 0. Then the third condition is 1, 0. So 1, 0, that is S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0 is our set condition. So irrespective of the Q value, Q of t plus 1 value is equal to 1. So S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0. Q of t plus 1 is equal to 1. And for S and R value equal to 1, we know it is the forbidden condition. So irrespective of Q value, this we denote it as indeterminate. Sometimes we mention this as X, as I have mentioned earlier. We give this as X. Okay, Q of t plus 1 is indeterminate. You can also note it as X. Okay, so the table that we give to denote the characteristic function of the flip-flop is called the characteristic table. So this characteristic table has present state and flip-flop inputs as the inputs to the table. So these three are the input parameter and next state is the output parameter of that table. Okay. These are input to the table. Okay, now with respect to this, we find the equation of the flip-flop, that is next state equation of the flip-flop, or you can simply call it as state equation. This is also known as the characteristic equation. So this characteristic equation is obtained for this Q of t plus 1. So for finding that, wherever you have 1, we fill it over there. So we have for 0, 1, 0. So this is 2. Then for 1, 0, 0, 4 and 1, 1, 0, this 6. And for 3 and 7, it is indeterminate. That is, we denote it with the X mark. That is, don't care. So based on that, we get the equation to be Q of t plus 1 is equal to S plus R bar Q. So here the condition is you are not supposed to have S and R value equal to 1, right? So this is given as additional condition is for SR equal to 0. That is, AND operation of SR should be 0 so that you can use this flip-flop. Okay, do you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
So next, the same way as we saw with D latch, we have for the D flip-flop also. So here also again, you can consider this to be the rising edge of clock. And we have seen D is equal to Q, right? The output follows the input, that is the D input, right? That's what we saw. So for D is equal to 0, we had Q is equal to 0. If D is equal to 1, Q is equal to 1. That is what we saw. The same thing is mentioned over here. Here, this is our present state Q. And this is our next state. So initially, actually for this next state, we will be using this as Q of t plus 1 and the present state as Q of t. That is, at this instant, what is the value? And after one clock cycle, what will be the output value? That is what this mentions. So as we move on, we won't be using this t plus 1 and t, all those things. We will simply mention it as present state Q and next state Q. We will see that. So here, with Q and D as the input, you have 4 possible combinations. So everything is written over here. So for D is equal to 0, your output or the next state Q of t plus 1 is 0. For D is equal to 1, next state Q of t plus 1 is 1. So for this, if we are going to give the equation format, we have Q of t plus 1 is equal to D. Okay. So this is same as what we saw with the latch. Only thing is here we have the edge transition with respect to this control input and we name it as the clock. Okay, so next we shall see JK flip-flop. So with JK flip-flop, we shall see the functionality. Here the circuit slightly changes. So here let us see the condition. So this JK flip-flop is also a flip-flop used to overcome the forbidden condition in SR flip-flop. So here what we do is consider the transition is from 0 to 1. So you need not bother about this input as such. You see to it when the clock is having the change from 0 to 1, this particular thing is enabled. Just have that alone in mind. So here with positive edge triggered JK flip-flop, for now you just have in mind this J input is similar to that of the set input in SR flip-flop and K input is similar to that of the reset input in SR flip-flop. Okay, va? So here the main thing is with S and R value equal to 1, we had a forbidden condition in case of SR flip-flop, whereas in JK flip-flop with J and K value both equal to 1, the output will be inverted. Okay, this alone you have in mind. So here with respect to this, so with rising edge of the clock, when J equal to 0 and K is equal to 0, Q of T plus 1 will be same as that of Q. This is similar to what we have in SR flip-flop. Okay. So J equal to 0 and K equal to 0. Whatever you have in Q, you will be having in Q of T plus 1. Next is J is equal to 0 and K is equal to 1. So in that case, the next state value will be equal to 0 because this is reset condition. So you can see this over these two values. So for J is equal to 0 and K is equal to 1, irrespective of Q value, I will get the output to be 0. And next one is J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 0. Q of T plus 1 is equal to 1 because this is our set condition. So these two. So irrespective of Q value, if your J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 0, the next state value will be 1. Now coming to the condition J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1. So in this case, it is actually inverting the output. That means Q of T plus 1 is equal to Q bar. So here with J equal to 1 and K equal to 1, our Q value is 0. So the output is 1. And here J is equal to 1, K is equal to 1, Q is 1. So Q of T plus 1 is 0. Okay. So this complements. Thereby, this flip-flop actually eradicates the forbidden condition with SR flip-flop. So again, the same way. So this is called the characteristic table and the equation is found for this Q of T plus 1, that we call it as the characteristic equation. So here we have ones in. So you can write this as Q of T plus 1 is equal to, with respect to min terms, summation 2, 3, 4 and 6. So having the ones over there, our aim is to cover all the ones. So we need just these two pairs. Okay. So this gives me JQ bar. So this corresponds to JQ bar and this pair corresponds to K bar Q. Okay. So this is the characteristic equation of JK flip-flop. We shall see the functionality with respect to the circuit some other time. So for now, you have to remember only this. All these four conditions alone you have to remember. The next type of flip-flop is the T flip-flop. It is a slight modification from this particular flip-flop. So here, if you have both J and K flip-flop to be 1, we call that flip-flop as T flip-flop. Okay. The circuit is therefore the same. So J and K is equal to 1. Or you could say this is J and K value is equal to T. Whatever the value of J and K be, it is equated to a single variable. In case of SR to D, we had the S input to be D and R input to be D bar, right? We had a NOT gate over there. Here, both J and K value will be equal to a single input. We call that T. Okay, ba? So our table is going to have only these conditions. That is this one. So this will be for the condition when J and K equal to 0 means that corresponds to T equal to 0 condition. And you can say that Q of T plus 1 is equal to Q in both of these cases. And here with respect to J and K equal to 1 case, you can say that whatever you have in Q, that is complemented in Q of T plus 1. So that is what is given here. So you will be having for T is equal to 0, Q of T plus 1 is equal to Q, and for T is equal to 1, Q of T plus 1 is equal to Q bar. Okay, so we also call this T as toggle flip-flop. The T stands for toggle. Toggle in the sense it is going to constantly invert the operation. So if you are having T value to be set to 1 always, so if I am going to have T value to be 1 in all these cases, let this be the clock, let this be the input T. Okay, our Q of T plus 1 will be, let us initially consider maybe the value of Q was 0. So what happens? Once it realizes the value to be 1, it will be toggling from 0 to 1 till the next clock pulse. Till the next clock pulse, you will be having the value as 1. Here again, at the rising edge of the clock, it will be coming across the value of T to be 1. So this toggles. Then it goes till the next clock. Then again here we have T is equal to 1. So this will again toggle. Okay. The changing the value between 0 and 1 for each of the clock cycles. That is what is toggling operation. So that is what is mentioned here. So with T is equal to 0, whatever value you have in Q, you have at the Q of T plus 1. When T is equal to 1, the Q of T plus 1 value will be the complemented one of Q. So here if we are going to give the characteristic equation, here you cannot form any pair with this. So the expression is directly Q bar T plus Q T bar. That is what is T Q bar plus T bar Q, which is nothing but the XOR operation. Okay. So this is the characteristic equation of T flip-flop. So next we have to see, so this is the gist of all the flip-flops. Okay. So I was mentioning with JK flip-flop, when both J and K value equal to 0, your Q of T plus 1 value will be the same as Q. That is the no change condition. That is same in case of both JK and SR flip-flop. J is equal to 0, K is equal to 1 means it is same as S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1. So this is the reset condition. And for J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 0, which is same as S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0, which is the set condition. So Q of T plus 1 is 1. And when J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1, here we have the complementing operation. So whatever value you had previously, it will be complemented. So this is given as Q bar of T. And in case of SR flip-flop, it is a forbidden condition. Okay, that is unpredictable or forbidden or indeterminate, whatever name you can give, you can give it. Okay, va? Then with D flip-flop, if D is equal to 0, the Q of T plus 1 will be 0, and if D is equal to 1, Q of T plus 1 is also equal to 1. So this follows the input value. Whereas for T flip-flop, if T is equal to 0, you don't have any change with Q of T plus 1. So it will remain the same. If T is equal to 1, it complements. That is, it does the toggle operation. and this is characteristic equation of all the flip-flops. Okay. So for D and T, it is very much easier for you to remember. So Q of T plus 1 is equal to D. So this implies your next state follows the input, and with T flip-flop, so this is flip-flop. So with T flip-flop, Q of T plus 1 is equal to T XORed with Q. For RS or SR flip-flop, you can give this as S plus R bar Q, S plus R bar Q, and you have additional condition that SR is equal to 0. That is, you cannot have both S and R value to be 1. So this is the added condition over here. With JK flip-flop, we have JQ bar plus K bar Q. Okay. This slide actually concises everything you need to remember with respect to these 4 types of flip-flops. Okay. So next we shall see something called the excitation table. So with characteristic table, you had the present state and flip-flop inputs as input to the table, and you had the next state value as the output of the table. In case of excitation table, it is a slight change. So in case of excitation table, you will be finding the values of flip-flop inputs, values of flip-flop inputs given the present state, I denote it as PS, and next state values. Next state is denoted as NS. Okay, this is Q of T and this is Q of T plus 1. So excitation table is, we are finding the flip-flop inputs when you know the present state and next state value. Okay, so this we often use these tables when we have the, or when we design any sequential circuit. That is with respect to counters and all those things, we will be seeing this. Let us just see that. So with respect to the characteristic tables for SR flip-flop, so I write all the conditions as such, that is all the possible combination of inputs to the table. And for the next state, we know for S and R value equal to 0, Q of T plus 1 is equal to Q as such. So whatever the value of Q you have it. Then for S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1, it is reset condition. So this is 0. And for S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0, it is the set condition. And for S equal to 1 and R equal to 1, this is our forbidden condition. Okay. So now writing the excitation table. So as I mentioned, you know the present state and the next state value, and you are to find the flip-flop inputs. So assume that you have these two values. Okay. So when present state is equal to 0 and next state is equal to 0, what will be our flip-flop inputs? So we have these two conditions. So in this condition, we have the present state to be 0 and next state to be 0. Same way, here also we have present state to be 0 and next state to be 0. So commonly we have to give the condition for this. So in both of these cases, S value is equal to 0. However, the R value is 0 in the first case and 1 in the second case. So we give the flip-flop input as 0, don't care. Okay, va? Next, we have the present state equal to 0 and next state equal to 1. That is this particular condition. So this is directly the set condition alone. So S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0. Okay, va? So the present state Q is equal to 0 and the next state is equal to 1. So this is the set condition. So S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0. Next we have present state as 1 and next state as 0. So this is the reset condition. So we have S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1. Next we have present state equal to 1 and next state equal to 1. So in this, if you check, the S value here changes actually. So for the first case, S is equal to 0 and the second case, S is equal to 1. So we give don't care over here and R is equal to 0 in both the cases. So this is our excitation table for the SR flip-flop. Okay, next coming to the JK flip-flop. So with JK flip-flop, Q, JK and Q of T plus 1. So all the combinations I will write it. So here we know with J equal to 0 and K equal to 0, it is no change condition similar to that of SR flip-flop. So we have 0 and 1 over here. Then J is equal to 0 and K is equal to 1 is our reset condition. So irrespective of the value of Q, we have 0 over here. Then J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 0 is our set condition. So irrespective of the value of Q, you have the output to be 1. And lastly, for J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1, Q of T plus 1 is the complement of Q. So here we have Q is equal to 0. So output is 1 here and here Q is equal to 1. So the output is 0 over here. Now for the excitation table, we have Q and Q of T plus 1. We are to find the flip-flop inputs of this combination. So here, considering, so initially when present state and the next state value are equal to 0. So this is where we have this case. So here you can see J is equal to 0 and K is 0 for the first case and 1 for the second case. So we give it a don't care. Next, for present state 0 and next state is 1. So this condition. Okay. So here J is equal to 1 in both the cases, whereas K value changes. So this is 1 and don't care. Next, for 1, 0, that is these two cases. For present state equal to 1 and next state value equal to 0. So here the J value is 0 for the first one and that's 1 for second one. Here both are 1. So this is don't care and 1. And lastly, for present state and next state value equal to 1, here we have J is equal to 0 and J is equal to 1, whereas K value is 0 in both the cases. So this is given as X and 0. Okay, so this is the excitation table for JK flip-flop. The same way we shall see for D and T flip-flop also. So with D flip-flop, you know whatever the value of D is, Q of T plus 1 is going to have the same thing, right? So here the excitation table will be 0, 0, 0, 1, 1 0 and 1 1. Here the same case is applicable, and therefore you will have, so when both q and q of t plus 1 are 0, d value is 0. When q is 0 and q of t plus 1 is 1, you have this to be 1. Then for 1 and 0, this is 0, and for 1 and 1, here you just have to remember, we know that q of t plus 1 is equal to d in case of D flip-flop. So whatever value you have in D, you will be writing for Q of T plus 1 in characteristic table. The same way, whatever value you have for Q of T plus 1 as the value of D in case of excitation table. Okay, both are sort of vice versa cases. And lastly, with T flip-flop, Q of T plus 1. So here we know when T is equal to 0, it is a no change condition, and when T is equal to 1, it complements. So here T is, so whatever value you have at Q will be written as it is, and when T is equal to 1, this will be complemented. So here Q is equal to 1, so we complement the value and give it as 1. Here with T is equal to 1 and Q is equal to 1, this will be complemented and given as this. So for T flip-flop, the excitation table will be, so the simple thing to remember is when Q and Q bar value is complemented, the flip-flop input is 1, otherwise it is 0. So here both Q and Q of T plus 1 are 0, so T is equal to 0. Here it is complemented, so T is equal to 1, and here again it is same. Okay, va? Okay, this alone you have to have in mind. Okay, so this is about the excitation table of these flip-flops. So to summarize with what we have seen from yesterday, the combinational circuits are circuits without feedback and it constitutes logic gates only, whereas sequential circuits are circuits with feedback and it requires some memory or delay element. The basic building block in designing the sequential circuits are latches and flip-flops. The different types of flip-flops are SR, JK, D and T. Then what is characteristic table? The characteristic table is derived for the next state value. So the output from this characteristic table is that of the next state when you know the value of the present state and the flip-flop inputs. Okay. The characteristic equation thereby defines the next state value. The excitation table is where you find the flip-flop inputs when you know the present state and next state value. Okay, va? So these things you have to have in mind with respect to flip-flop. Okay, so we shall wind off the session today. Thank you guys.